Hey guys, Hikari here, and in today's chapter of My Hero Academia, we start off exactly where we left off last week with Tamaki about to use his most powerful move, and we see that he's telling everybody that, or telling himself that everyone's fate is in my hands, and that if this attack fails, it's definitely going to be over for everybody, and we see that he's having flashbacks to everybody telling him to, take pride in yourself, and that you're amazing, and that you really need to give yourself some credit. We see a lot of his different friends, different people that he talks to saying that, and he's saying that, that blinding light was bestowing treasure upon him by the people that he really cares for, and that he's kind of unable to accept them then. But right now, he's able to accept everybody for what they were saying, all the good words they gave him, that he can apply them to himself and try and do better. This leads into him finally unleashing the attack, and it's called Cornucopia Combination Plasma Cannon, and Shigaraki's saying insolent brat, and he's telling Shigaraki to take this, and we see that he starts to get hit by the blast, and he's kind of trying to push it out the way and move, but we see that Mirio actually comes in and does a punch on him to, I guess, kind of lock him in place, get him to stay in the middle of that blast, and we see that the blast actually goes very far. The blast gets sent forward like miles and miles away, and we see that it's not a pushover of an attack. It really did a lot, but for some reason, and of course, Shigaraki just isn't really damaged at all. He still hasn't really taking significant damage from it, and he's even talking down to them saying that, did you really think that this would work, and that do you think this would have hurt Prime All Might, and how can you guys be this delusional? It didn't do anything really to him. It's at this point that we see that Bakugo has actually gotten back up, and he's starting to walk very slowly towards the fight, and we see that he's telling Best Genius to take good care of everyone, and we see a determined look on his face, and he's saying that we still have a battle to win, right, Izuku? And Best Genius telling him to don't do it, stop, and we see that Bakugo literally closes the distance between him and Shigaraki in like a fraction of a second. He's already over there so fast that even Shigaraki couldn't react to it, and we see that Shigaraki then tries to go for a follow-up attack, but Bakugo is able to instantly react to the attack, dodge it in the perfect way, use an explosion to get back on the ground, and go back in for another attack. And we see that Mirio and Best Genius and everybody are just amazed at how adeptly he's using his quirk right now. And we see that Shigaraki again tries to go for another attack, but he misses it, and Bakugo's already behind him, and we see a panel saying quirk, explosion. We then get an explanation of how his quirk works and how his cluster bombs, and specifically the move that he devised where he basically kind of congratulates or gets a bunch of the different nitroglycerin sweats in his hands to release multiple explosions at a time. We learned that they've been doing a weird side effect in that whenever he does this, he usually produces too much of it, and they try to find a way to escape since they all can't escape out of the sweat glands on his hands, which caused them to actually go to other sweat glands throughout his body to try and escape him. So that's how he's gaining his full body being able to sweat, and he's able to actually fire off explosions from his whole body. And this is weird, but I had a script written and I had a video put out yesterday where about a week ago I had devised what I thought that his quirk awakening or another ability of his quirk would be, and I devised that it would be a full body explosion, that he can make explosions from out his whole body, and that they would give him speed boost, they gave him making him more powerful, and they do it a lot of different things. And that actually came true, and I did come up with this conclusion after looking at a bunch of different comments from one of my other videos where I went over Bakugo, the second user, and like what his quirk could be. And a lot of people were saying that it was probably going to be full body quirks that would kind of give him the ability to move faster and do a lot of different things. So this is definitely up to the subscribers on this one. You guys really did come up with a very good explanation on what it could be, and it seems like it really did come true. So that's honestly crazy that it happened, and this was before I even saw any of the spoilers or anything like that. This was about a week ago that I made the script, so a lot of this came true. Getting back into the chapter, we see that the panels are also saying that his entire body is throbbing after getting the speed increases, and his whole body is giving off explosions, and that the ability to even fight while your body's constantly kind of exploding a little bit on the inside, that's the path that you've been walking all this time, isn't it? He's saying that to Izuku, and he's saying, tell me, Izuku, will I reach you someday? So we see how important it is for Bakugo right now to kind of reach and catch up to Izuku, which is kind of crazy since at the beginning, it was kind of the opposite where Izuku was trying to catch up to Bakugo. So seeing him so desperately now want to kind of be side by side with Izuku on the same level with him is just really sad to kind of see Bakugo having to go through. And this is really, really something important to him. So it's just sad kind of seeing that he's trying to catch up to him, but he really can't right now. The next channel of the chapter honestly got me really excited because we see that he's saying, why am I so angry? Why am I losing my cool? And we see him kind of flash to a image of the second user of One For All. And if you've been following the channel for a while, if you've seen a lot of the videos, I talk heavily about the fact that I think that the second user is somehow a long-time descendant of Bakugo, and I think that Bakugo is actually related to him, and that's why Bakugo's awakening, his abilities, and I'm thinking that Bakugo's abilities are going to be very similar to the second user, and we kind of see that right now with, the fact that he does explosion out his hands. The second user had the gauntlet things, and I've been going over this for a long time now, so I feel like this kind of does confirm the theory again, that Bakugo was somehow related to the second user. And a lot of people think it's going to be in a time travel sense. I don't feel like that would be the case, since then Horikoshi would have to kind of bring in time travel and explain that. I just feel like he's related to the second user, and I feel like that's very plausible. But I definitely do want to see what Horikoshi does with this fact that he kind of showed this little flash of the second user. I really want him to kind of confirm that Bakugo is related to him, but only time will tell, and we'll see that eventually in the story, but it's just very cool seeing that right now in the chapter. Shigaraki's of course kind of saying that, why am I, getting scared really over this run-of-the-mill hero that doesn't even possess all for one, and he's telling Bakugo to die now, and this is where we see some flashes to Bakugo kind of talking to his spirit All Might, and he's saying that, since they kind of met each other like that, he hasn't really been able to find the right moment to ask him about something, and we see that Bakugo pulls out a card out of his pocket, and he says that, I've always kind of wanted you to sign this for me, and it's that same All Might card that he got so many years ago when he was a kid, and I saw a lot of people showing that he actually has his hands in that exact pocket in almost every instance that we see him, and it's most likely because he's kind of holding on to that card. So we see just how much that card and the idea of kind of catching up to All Might really means to Bakugo, and it's so sad. They really make this chapter sad because of the next couple panels, and we see that Bakugo's heart, it flashes in the panel, and we see that Shigaraki was actually able to land an attack on him. Although everybody jumped in to try and prevent it, he was able to hit Bakugo, and Bakugo gets sent flying backwards. And we see that it's another panel saying that weather reports have shown that there's a bunch of clouds in the sky and that it might rain due to sharp increases in temperature, and we see that Best Genius actually catches Bakugo out of the air, and Shigaraki's just saying that, you're just reacting to our battle from before, and he's saying that what made you think that anything would be different, and we've been preparing for this moment for a long time now, and the Demon Lord's body is fully realized, and he's saying that, do you get it now? Our story begins here. And we see a flash to Bakugo's mom and dad, and they're saying that that boy hates rain, and Best Genius reacts, and everybody's has a horrified face, and he's saying that his heart, and we see that Bakugo's on the floor, and it seems like his heart has stopped, and he's bleeding out. He's on the floor, and the card is next to him. We see blood coming out of his mouth, and we're led to believe that this is the end of Bakugo right here, and this is how the chapter ends. And they really did set it up to kind of seem like it really is the end of Bakugo, but I don't know if this is really going to be the end of him. I feel like something is going to happen with the Vestige World, maybe with him, but honestly, the way that Horikoshi set this up, he did it even different than the last time we thought Bakugo was going to pass away during the incident where they were fighting Shigaraki. This time, they really did kind of cement that maybe Bakugo has passed away, so honestly, I don't even know if Bakugo is really going to come back from this. I want to believe that he's most likely going to, and I do think that there's a good chance that he is, but I just don't know. But I just want everybody to let me know in the comments if they think that Bakugo is actually going to come back from this, or if this is just the end of Bakugo. I'm on the side that thinks that something is going to happen to get him back, but I'm honestly not sure. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I really do want to see what everybody thinks is going to happen, because at this point, I'm not sure. But thank you for watching the video also, and like and subscribe if you liked the video, and as it really does help me out, and I really do appreciate anybody that sticks around, subscribes, and watches my other videos, since I will be putting out a lot of them in the coming weeks. So thank you for watching, and I'm out. Peace.